Lay your fabric flat on a table or floor and cut all the pieces as per your pattern. Press all the pieces so it'll be easy for sewing. While you have the iron on, fuse 2 interfacing pieces to the wrong side of each collar piece so you end up with 2 thicker collar halves. Repeat for the other collar. First, let's make the bows. Fold each bow piece in half, right sides together. Stitch along the long edge, then turn right side out. Press the strip neatly, then form it into a bow shape. Hand sew to secure the shape. Take a 5.5 by 7 cm rectangle, sewn with right sides together. Turn it right side out and wrap it around the center of the bow. Hand sew to secure in place. Finish the edges by folding the raw edges inward and hand sewing neatly to close. Repeat these steps for the second bow. Next, sew the bust darts on the front bodice and press them toward the waist. Set the bodice aside once the darts are done. Now let's insert the invisible zipper into the back bodice. Start by finishing the center back seam edges with a zigzag stitch or overlocker. Fold the center back seam in half, right sides together. And at the end of the back slit, mark a line that's 2 cm up from the bottom and 7 cm down from the top. Straight stitch along this line to ensure the zipper ends neatly. Place the invisible zipper face down on the right side of one back edge, leaving the top stops about 6 mm below the neckline to allow for the collar. Mark small matching notches along the zipper tape and the edge of the bodice slit. Repeat on the other side of the zipper and the other side of the bodice. With the zipper fully open, align right sides together. Match the notches and pin carefully. Baste the zipper in place. This will make it much easier to sew with the invisible zipper foot later. Don't forget to baste on the other side of the zipper. Then sew permanently with an invisible zipper foot. Repeat on the other side of the zipper, stopping at the marked line. Fold the zipper under the seam allowance to hide it neatly. Now it's time to finish the bodice and armholes. With right sides together, pin the front bodice to the back bodice at the shoulders. Sew a straight stitch to secure. Repeat on the other shoulder. You should have 4 lining pieces cut earlier. Finish the raw edges with an overlocker or a zigzag stitch. With right sides together, pin the front and back armhole linings at the shoulders. Sew a straight stitch to secure. Repeat for the other lining set. Next, attach the lining to the bodices. With the right sides together, match the armhole lining to the armhole of the bodice, aligning the shoulder seams. Pin starting from the shoulder seam. And stitch to secure. Repeat for the other armhole. To finish the armholes neatly, turn the dress right side out. Press the raw edges toward the lining. Carefully top stitch across from one armhole point to the other, stitching close to the edge of the lining. This will keep the lining in place and help the armhole hold its shape when worn. Repeat on the other side. Now let's sew the side seams and finish the slits. With the right sides together, pin from the underarm down to the waistline, making sure the underarm seams align. Stitch and backstitch securely at the slit opening. Repeat on the other side. Finish the raw edges from the underarm to the slit with an overlocker or zigzag stitch. For the side slits, fold up the raw edge twice by about 5 mm, press and sew along the edge. Cross over the stitching neatly at the waist to join the 2 sides. Repeat on the other side. For the bottom hem, fold up 1 cm twice, press, and sew neatly along the edge. Repeat on the other side. Now let's work on the collar. Place each pair of collar pieces right sides together, pin, and sew along the curved outer edge and around the square corner. Stitching just outside the interfacing, about 2 mm away. Leave the bottom edge open. Trim the seam allowance, turn right side out, and press flat. Baste around the neckline edge of the bodice to keep it flat. Starting from the center front. With right sides together, pin each collar half to the neckline along the bottom edge. Sew along the neckline, leaving the top seam allowance of the collar free. Before sewing the top seam, take a scissor and cut a small arc at the center of the collar, bottom seam, to release tension for easier sewing. At the collar ends, fold the raw edges inside neatly and tuck in the end of the invisible zipper. Pin carefully, making sure the fold covers the collar edge on the other side so it stays in place when sewing. Turn to the right side of the collar and top stitch along the line between the collar and the neckline. Finally, attach the bows to the front bodice using either hand or machine stitching. Secure them enough to stay in place. Give your Ao Dai a final press, and that's it.